Tulsi Gabbard, who frankly, for some reason people have been afraid to say this. I don't know why. I happen to like Tulsi. I interviewed her. I like her foreign policy views a lot, so it's not all good or all bad. But I, generally speaking, if I'm a viewer of news, I would be very, very hesitant of any journalists, any commentators who 100% all the time are pro anybody. I would be hesitant of me if I was 100% all the time pro Bernie. I criticize Bernie quite often. So Tulsi Gabbard dropped out. I don't particularly know why she was still in the race. I don't say that condescendingly. It just didn't make sense to me why she was still in the race, frankly, after New Hampshire. She has a right to stay in the race as long as she wants, obviously, but it just didn't really make sense to me. Who knows? I don't know what her purpose was for staying in the race, but she stayed in the race, and she, people that are journalists that have basically had their head so far up her ass, defend her to the high heavens. Yeah, she's going to stay until the convention, and that's great, blah, 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 blah. I just don't understand that. Not that Tulsi Gabbard not dropping out of the race and endorsing Bernie didn't have the same significance of Warren, because Warren had a much bigger voting base, and Warren got bigger numbers than Tulsi. We could argue about why is that. Obviously, Tulsi was not treated fairly by the media, in my view. She got basically the deal that Bernie got in 2016. It was a mix of a complete media blackout, where they never covered her, and then when they did cover her, it was all propaganda. That she was knocked as a Russian asset and all this nonsense. The Assad apologists, all this stuff. They tried to discredit her right out of the gate. So obviously she wasn't treated fairly, and in a fair media system, she might have done better. So, that's obvious. And like I said, me being critical of Tulsi Gabbard, I like her foreign policy views, and that's why, to me, it's just really, really dumbfounding why you would endorse Joe Biden at this point, at this current point. So I'm not going to play her speech. I'm sure you guys saw it. First off, if you're going to endorse Biden, okay, I'm going to get into why I think that's really, really goes against everything she stands for. But again, I don't know. Who knows if this was an effort on her campaign? But if you're going to endorse Biden, don't put out this nonsense that, Bernie refused your endorsement. This is her brother. I don't know her brother. I'm not criticizing him. Maybe there was a miscommunication. But, I spoke with someone today that I trust, a source of mine in Bernie world who never has steered me wrong. And I was told that's unequivocally not true. That she offered to endorse Bernie Sanders and was refused. So this idea, Bernie treated, her brother said Bernie has treated my sister like shit and this, that, and the other thing. And I saw other takes on this that were basically blaming Bernie. First of all, I think a lot of Tulsi Gabbard supporters felt it was Bernie Sanders' responsibility to tag team with her throughout this primary and stick up for her 24/7 and all this stuff. They're competitors, right? She decided to run. It wasn't on Bernie Sanders to go out and rant that Tulsi Gabbard was being excluded from the debate. I'm not saying that because I'm a Bernie bro. I'm saying that because, bottom line, in the preponderance of polling, Tulsi Gabbard was not polling very highly. I think she should have been eligible for more debates. Obviously, the DNC moved the goalposts, this and that. But if all the fights that Bernie Sanders and his campaign were fighting, they should take the time and resources to be going on national television, tweeting out in support of Tulsi Gabbard. It's a competition. I don't think, I'm not going to knock Bernie Sanders that he didn't go out and, fight the fight for Tulsi Gabbard to be on the debate stage. I just think that's ridiculous. It's a competition. And by the way, people having selective amnesia, Bernie Sanders did come out and defend Tulsi Gabbard after Hillary Clinton's despicable Oh, she's a Russian asset nonsense. If you remember, Bernie defends Tulsi Gabbard. Outrageous to suggest she is a foreign asset. So, like, what did you want him to do? You want him to, like, get his organizers to, like, storm the gates of the DNC so Tulsi Gabbard could get in the debate? I mean, it's insane. So, for those of you that, like, this whole idea of solidarity and, you know, they're in this together, no. That's why progressives keep losing. Progressives have to actually be cutthroat. Progressives have to be cutthroat. That's why I said Tulsi should have dropped out significantly earlier, endorsed Bernie Sanders, because it would have helped him having her across the nation, speaking out for him. She was a great attack dog against Kamala Harris and would have been a great attack dog against Joe Biden. And then you have, frankly, you know, Tulsi's media allies who would say, hell no, you know, Bernie didn't do anything for Tulsi. Why should she do that? With all due respect, this isn't like 8th grade, okay? If Tulsi Gabbard truly stands for what she says she stands for, you're not going to endorse Bernie Sanders because he didn't pick up the phone enough to your liking or didn't make overtures to you. And hey, if she didn't want to endorse Bernie Sanders because she thinks he wasn't gracious enough to her or didn't, like, stick up for her enough, okay, I think that's silly. Because Bernie Sanders is the only candidate in this race that's even on the same planet as you as far as the things you claim to be for. So I totally, and you know, I saw some videos, basically the people who have been defending Tulsi this whole time who could never dare criticize Tulsi. It's illegal to say anything negative about Tulsi. When Tulsi was doing Wall Street, meeting with Wall Street hedge fund people, off the record, they wouldn't say a word about it. I said a word about it because I'm not going to, like, what are we going to attack Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren and all these people for towing and playing footsie with Wall Street? But if Tulsi Gabbard goes and has off-the-record meetings with Wall Street, we shouldn't say anything because it's Tulsi Gabbard. And by the way, no, I'm not talking about the one where she actually videotaped it. She had off-the-record meetings with Wall Street. It's right here. Tulsi Gabbard, fresh off her nasty tussle with the former First Lady, Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, was given a hero's welcome at a meeting with Wall Street executives and potential donors on Wednesday evening in New York City that took place at Anthony Scaramucci's Hunt and Fish Club. She had off-the-record meetings. Let me get it. This was a different article where it said these were off-the-record meetings. But this event, there was no video of this. You think she's sitting there meeting with Wall Street hedge funds to give them the birds and the bees about ending the military-industrial complex? And by the way, I understand why she did it. Her campaign was running out of money. I get all this. But frankly, do you know what keeps the military-industrial complex healthy and vibrant? The same Wall Street people she was meeting with. So I'm sorry. I'm an intellectually consistent person, and I don't turn blinders on because it's Tulsi Gabbard. If Bernie Sanders was having meetings with Anthony Scaramucci and Wall Streeters, I would go nuclear. But again, all I could go on, you know, I hear other people talking about their sources. Respectfully, I'm out in the country a lot more than, you know, some of the people online, and I have better sources. And the person I spoke with has never steered me wrong and told me that's not true, and Bernie and Tulsi have good vibes. So I trust this source. And to me, the biggest issue is not her not endorsing Bernie. Fine. You don't want to endorse Bernie for whatever the reason is. That's fine. I agree with one of the super chatters wrote, Tulsi doesn't owe Bernie anything. That's fine. I agree with that sentiment. But there is supporting the Democratic nominee because you said you would. And then there's endorsing Biden now with no concessions from Biden, without even calling for him to move at all towards your way. And frankly, again, I want to be totally upfront. I respect Tulsi Gabbard's service. This is not criticizing Tulsi Gabbard's service. I would never go fight in a war. So this has nothing to do with her service, which we all should respect. But the bottom line is, you're endorsing without any calls for anything from him the very person that helped lie you into a war that you had to go fight valiantly. And by the way, it's not only that, like, he had a bad vote. A lot of people voted on this and admit it was a mistake. He's been lying about it this entire campaign. He's been saying, no, when I voted for it, my vote for the Iraq war was not a vote to go to war. It was a vote to give President Bush time to send inspectors in. Well, first of all, there's either two options. Either Joe Biden is the dumbest bulb in the universe, and he's an idiot, because nobody would trust George Bush, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, George Tenet, Paul Wolfowitz, and the whole gang if they said, no, we're not actually going to go to war, but if you give us if you vote for the authorization for military force, I'm going to send inspectors in. So either Biden was an idiot or he's lying. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.